Bank, by S-Mark, by People's Gas, by Carlow University, by UPMC Sports Medicine, by the East Suburban Sports Medicine Center, by J&J Distributing, and by Management Science Associates.
A pleasant good evening and welcome to the Center Ice Arena in Delmont, Pennsylvania. Adam Gusky, Sean Myers on the call for you for today's PIHL Single A Tier 2 matchup between the top team in the East and the top team in the West. It's the Franklin Regional Panthers taking on the South Park Eagles. Franklin Regional, the host team, 9-5 on the season, 18 points. Again, they're atop Single A Tier 2 East, while South Park at 11-4 with 22 points on the season is atop Single A Tier 2 West. Good to have you along with us no matter where you're joining us here on the MSA Sports Network, whether you're watching or listening. Good to have you joining us from the Center Ice Arena in Delmont, Pennsylvania. And Sean Myers, this is going to be a very interesting matchup between two of the top teams in Single A.
Two of the top teams, and what a turnaround it's been for both these squads from a year ago. Really, just a terrific story on both sides. When you look at what the Franklin Regional Panthers suffered through a year ago, 21-1 in 2013-14. They had just 21 goals all season. They allowed 182 goals. That was playing in Class AA. They dropped down, and it certainly worked in favor of the Panthers. As you mentioned, they've gotten off to a great start, a top Tier 2 of Class Single A. They have 18 points already this season, 74 goals, 62 goals against. So clearly making significant improvements on both ends. The defense is still a struggle at times for the Panthers, but their offense has been prolific. On the other side, South Park has gone a similar turnaround, as this was a team that was just 2-19 a year ago, and they're off to a great start as well, a top Tier 2 Western Conference. And when you look at them, they have a very potent offense, 104 goals already for this season, 63 goals against, so I would expect a pretty high-scoring affair here this evening.
Taking a look at these two teams, last time out for Franklin Regional was a 5-4 win over Keystone Oaks on Monday, January 12th. Meanwhile, the Eagles come off of a 4-2 victory over Sarah Catholic, that game last Thursday. So both teams coming off of victories, and again, both teams atop their respective divisions in Single A Tier 2. Looking ahead for these two teams, Franklin Regional will take on Greensburg-Salem this upcoming Thursday at Kirk-Niven Arena in Greensburg, while South Park will take on South Fayette at the Ice Castle. And that game will be this upcoming Thursday as well, a 6:40 face-off for the South Park Eagles. So we take a look onto the ice. The Franklin Regional Panthers are to our left-hand side. They wear their home white jerseys with the blue shorts, the blue numerals with the gold trim. To our right-hand side, warming up, are the South Park Eagles. They wear their road royal blue jerseys, the black shorts with the white numerals and lettering. Blue helmets for the Eagles, navy blue helmets for the Franklin Regional Panthers. And I can't get over the turnaround that Franklin Regional has had, taking a look at where they were a season ago, dropping down just one classification, and they have really gotten things rolling as they are atop their division in Tier 2.
Yeah, as we mentioned, it's a woeful season a year ago, and a lot of times that discourages these players, but give a lot of credit not only to the players but the coaching staff for righting the ship here. And as you mentioned, dropping down just a single classification, but this is a completely different unit, and they have a very potent offense. The question is on defense and in goal. That's one thing that the Panthers are going to need to shore up. But when you look at the somewhat convoluted playoff bracket for Class Single A, basically when you look at Tier 2, it's going to be the top two teams of both the East and the Western Conference are going to qualify for the postseason. So you look at these teams, they're both in great shape. South Park really running away with the Western Conference. They have 22 points. The next closest team, South Fayette, with just 8. Franklin Regional does have some competition behind them, but right now the Panthers leading the way with 18 points. Bishop McCourt just 2 points back, and then Sarah Catholic with 10 points. But both these teams certainly in prime position at this point to make the playoffs, which, as you mentioned, Adam, would be a terrific turnaround for two teams that struggled, especially the Panthers, that we talked about their goals for and goals against last year. It's complete contrast this year, and that's not just done by one or two players. That's a complete team effort that has led to this turnaround.
Elsewhere in the PIHL Class Single A, Bishop McCourt taking on Sarah Catholic, and Westmont Hilltop taking on Mars. Both of those games out in Johnstown at the Cambria War Memorial. A long trip for a couple of teams in the Pittsburgh area, including Mars and Sarah Catholic. Set to face this one off here at the Center Ice Arena in Delmont, Pennsylvania. Again, Adam Gusky, Sean Myers on the call for you here on the MSA Sports Network, and we are underway as the faceoff goes back behind the Panthers' goal, and chasing it down for Franklin Regional is Merlina. Merlina kicking it out to the near board, skating up ice quickly is Bennett. Bennett leads the way for the Panthers. He tries to put it on net. It's stopped out front by a defender in Natero. Franklin Regional keeps it in along the far boards for the moment, but South Park clears it out to center ice. Eagles on a rush, and Natero dumps it in, and some fresh bodies will come out for the Blue Shirts as Franklin Regional skates it down behind their own net. Down the far board, scooping it up is Coretta for Franklin Regional. He'll try to dump it into Eagles ice, but it's knocked away momentarily by South Park, dumped back in again by Morrow for Franklin Regional. Centering pass, Morrow can't get it on to the netminder, and it's kicked to the near boards where it's cleared out by the South Park Eagles. Neutral ice is where the puck is located right now. Skating back and gathering it in is Morrow for Franklin Regional. He'll feed it up to Coretta, who comes down the near boards. Coretta leaving it off onto the net, put on there by Cameron Huffman, and it's covered up by the netminder for the South Park Eagles. The stop for Shane Walker.
Yeah, and a sharp angle shot there for Huffman. It's going to be interesting to see how this game starts off. We were wondering, South Park was pretty late coming out for the warm-ups. The Panthers had probably about 10 minutes extra to skate and warm up for this contest, so we'll see if that plays a factor in the early going.
Face-off won by South Park. They'll work it around to the far boards. Obviously, this is a much further trip for the South Park Eagles coming from the South Hills of Pittsburgh, while Franklin Regional is virtually within walking distance of the Center Ice Arena here in Delmont. Puck into neutral ice as it's chased down in the Panthers zone. Trying to scoop it up was Gerhold for the Eagles, but it's cleared out by Franklin Regional. They skate on the offensive attack. Festa can't pull the trigger from the far boards, and it's cleared out again by South Park. Skating through traffic goes Zandier, and Zandier putting it on net where it's covered up by Nicholas Payon. And Payon with the stop for the Panthers. And with 15:05 to play in period number one, we are still scoreless here in Delmont, PA.
Zandier, the leading scorer for this Eagles team, coming in 39 points, courtesy of 21 goals and 18 assists. That time he got a good opportunity off of a misplay from the Panthers defense.
Zandier from South Park, the only player between these two teams in the top 10 in scoring in single A. Puck pulled back by South Park. Getting it down behind his own net is McLean Walton. To the far boards it'll go, where it's scooped up by Barely for Franklin Regional. Barely lost the handle, and it'll sky up and hit off of the netting all the way around the Center Ice Arena, other than at the benches here at the Delmont Ice facility.
We want to give credit to Scott Majeski doing the video broadcast here tonight. Doing a great job as always.
Franklin Regional wins the face-off, retreats, and South Park able to get it out of their own end. Down the near boards comes Yost for the Eagles. Scrum for the puck in the near corner. It's cleared out by Franklin Regional. Back out to neutral ice, and the Eagles have to retreat. Franklin Regional trying to corral the puck back in the neutral zone. Knocked back into Eagles ice for the moment, but cleared out again. Zandier now trying to push the issue for the Eagles, but it's taken back away by Franklin Regional. Down the far boards goes Barely. Out in front, the puck kicked away as Fusting couldn't pull the trigger. And to the near boards, the puck comes out of the danger zone for the Eagles.
Yeah, good job just getting it out of the defensive zone there by South Park after a good chance for Franklin Regional right in front of the goal.
Again, the puck along the near boards for Franklin Regional. They try to clear it out of their own zone, and they do so. South Park retreating. They'll scoop it up. It's Kowalik to the near boards. Pushing the issue now is Tanner Orr. Wrister towards the net. Stopped there by Payon to the far boards, where Kowalik puts a slapper to the net. Kicked aside by Nick Payon again. Zone cleared by Franklin Regional, and they'll skate it back left to right. Bartafay skating behind the cage of the Eagles. Out high it will go. Knocked away by the Eagles for a moment, but kept in by Franklin Regional. Weaving through traffic goes Bartafay, but he can't pull the trigger, and the puck will come to the near corner where it's knocked into the netting again, and we'll have another face-off this time to the left of the netminder, Shane Walker.
Yeah, both teams generating some chances, not really able to get much wood behind these shots on goal. Although Payon did have to make one good save on a shot from the point. It looked like he might have been late picking up, but is able to use his pads to kick it away to safety.
Tyler Newell wins the faceoff for Franklin Regional as he shoves it forward. Franklin Regional can't maintain the possession, though, and the Eagles will clear it out, and they skate with numbers. It's Natero through traffic. It's knocked away, though, to the near boards by a Panther defender. Franklin Regional can't clear the zone as South Park keeps it in. Back behind the net, trying to center it out in front to Goodall, but no dice as the Panther defense holds strong. Now weaving out in front comes Hickey. Hickey bouncing it off of the far boards where it's scooped up by Franklin Regional. Pulled back to the near boards. It will come. Scooped up by Drake Brown. Brown clearing it out. The Panthers will skate it down. Off the side of the cage the puck goes. Icing is prevented, and Franklin Regional tries to put the pressure on offensively, but again cleared out by South Park. Franklin Regional now with a goal! A great opportunity as a tape-to-tape pass went to Ethan Bennett, and Bennett put it behind the netminder. And it's the Panthers on top of the Eagles 1-0 with 11:57 to play here in period number one.
Yeah, that time Bennett was able to capitalize on a bad change for South Park. The Eagles late getting their defense onto the ice. As you mentioned, the pass right on the tape of Bennett's stick. He skated in and ripped a snapshot far side high to put the Panthers on the board. A good offensive flurry there for Franklin Regional, and they capitalized on a mistake by South Park.
A diving defender for South Park couldn't get between Bennett and the back of the net, and that allowed Bennett to bury it into the twine. Here comes Bennett again down the near side, but it's knocked back by the Eagles. Offensive opportunity here for Linnets, but knocked back by Franklin Regional, and the pressure being applied again by Ethan Bennett along the far boards. Bennett back behind the net, getting help from Dakota McIntyre. McIntyre and Bennett put it out front. Now it's scooped up by McIntyre, knocked out high, and the zone is cleared by South Park. Eagles trying to put on an offensive attack as Lanitz knocks the puck back behind the Franklin Regional cage. To the near corner, two blue jerseys fight for it, but it's cleared out by Franklin Regional. And the Panthers clear the zone as the Eagles forced to retreat and try to reset their offense as we have played just over 6 minutes here in period number one, and it's 1-0 Franklin Regional on top of South Park.
And right now the Eagles having a hard time getting the puck out of the zone. They're struggling. They're not connecting on those passes. A bit of miscommunication, particularly on a D-to-D pass.
Eagles back behind their own net. Puck pushed to the far boards. Gerhold couldn't clear the zone, and again it's kept in by Franklin Regional. Natero down the near side trying to clear it out for South Park, but again the Panthers keep it in. A wrister to the net by Huffman, knocked aside by the South Park goaltender, and South Park finally clearing the zone, and they will skate with numbers for the moment, but Franklin Regional gets back quickly defensively.
Yeah, the Panthers really weren't too aggressive on that forecheck, just able to force a number of turnovers. Finally, South Park gets out of the zone, although they're not going to stay in the offensive zone for very long as that pass comes out.
Been very impressed with Franklin Regional's defense, and they have applied a reasonable amount of pressure on the offensive end against this South Park club. There comes Huffman again, who had a good opportunity a moment ago, but the puck knocked back to neutral ice, and now it will be a dump in by the Panthers. South Park can't clear it out. Along the far boards, Novak trying to gather it back in for Franklin Regional, but South Park clearing it out again. Gerhold clears the zone again, but it's knocked back in for the Panthers. Down the near side comes Fusting. A slapper kicked aside by Walker. Into the far boards it will go. Franklin Regional keeping it in, continuing to apply pressure. Centering pass, but nobody there for Franklin Regional. Fusting puts it out front. A backhanded wrister knocked aside is barely couldn't pull the trigger cleanly. Now a puck will slide to the side of the net and back behind the cage it goes. And South Park finally able to clear the zone. Down to his belly goes a defender trying to clear it out of there for South Park. And finally, South Park is going to be able to take a breath here as an open ice hit, and we'll see our first penalty of the game go against Franklin Regional.
And after a sustained offensive attack for the Panthers, they will take the first penalty of this contest to be shorthanded, as there was a hit at open ice that the official was right there to make the call.
Yeah, Natero got hit straight in the midsection, and Gismondi for Franklin Regional is going to be whistled up for the interference. So a power play for the Eagles, and they'll try to put some pressure on Nick Paone, the goalie of the Franklin Regional Panthers.
And that goal for Ethan Bennett for Franklin Regional, that was his 10th goal of the season. Give the Panthers the 1-0 advantage in this one, trying to kill off this penalty to maintain that lead, however.
South Park with just 2 shots thus far today. 6 have been put on net by the Franklin Regional Panthers, and Franklin Regional quickly clears the zone. South Park trying to put some offensive pressure on Zandier, weaving his way through traffic. He'll pause on the far corner, trying to center it out front. Knocked aside by a Panther for a moment, but Zandier will work it to the near boards for Natero. Natero cross ice, he'll get it back on the left side. Working it back down the near boards. It's gathered in by Zandier. Back out to Natero. Slapper through traffic, kicked away by Paone. And Franklin Regional skates it down, but it's kept in by the Panthers, or rather by the Eagles along the far boards. Back behind the Panthers' cage it goes. Skated down by Zandier. Zandier trying to work his way through traffic, and the puck gets behind the netminder Paone, and Zandier with some great hands ties this game at 1 apiece.
The power play marker, the equalizer there. Zandier, as you mentioned, showing his hands off with a toe drag that created space as he pulled that one to the middle of the ice. Looked as though he shoveled that one in on the backhand. And a big equalizer. Give credit to this power play of South Park. They got a few good opportunities early, and then Zandier was able to put it away late with a finish around the goal.
So back to even strength after the power play goal for the South Park Eagles, and Franklin Regional will push the issue, trying to take the lead back as we are back to even play. Centering pass and a sharp wrister put on net by Huffman, but it's kicked high by Shane Walker into the rafters, and we'll have a face-off to the right side of the South Park netminder.
Walker has been busy in the early going. That time he came up with a key save to keep this one tied at 1.
That is shot number 7 on the evening for Franklin Regional.
22nd goal of the season already for Zandier, now at 40 points on the campaign.
Puck knocked back. It's skated down by Puglisi and cleared out by the Eagles, but knocked back in. Huffman, wrister, puck goes high, and it's still loose out in front. The puck, the net comes off the moorings, and that may have saved a goal for the Eagles because the Panthers had gathered in the loose puck on the high right-hand side with a lot of traffic in front of Shane Walker.
Yeah, Walker with the blocker popped that one up high in the air. Looked like he struggled to locate it. Certainly the few of the players did. There was a scramble. Ultimately, the net came off its moorings, and the officials are going to bring this faceoff outside, saying that Franklin Regional was responsible for knocking that net off.
7:08 to play in period number 1. It's South Park 1 and Franklin Regional 1 here at the Center Ice Arena in Delmont, Pennsylvania. Adam Gusky, Sean Myers on the call for you here on the MSA Sports Network, both audio and video broadcasts. This evening from Delmont, PA, a wrister knocked away by a defender out front for the Eagles, but Franklin Regional continuing to apply pressure. A shot goes awry by Gismondi going to the right of the net. It'll sail out of the zone. Franklin Regional able to regather the puck in the neutral ice, but it's taken away by the Eagles, and the Eagles now look to set up the offense in this even strength situation.
Really like that play by Gismondi, jumping up from his defensive spot. He got a good chance. Couldn't put it on net, but just jumping into the middle ice like that, that's going to force South Park to adjust defensively and pay more attention to him when he's back there on the blue line.
McLean Walton working it up to the far boards where it's gathered in by Jacob Hickey. Hickey lost the puck, and it's knocked to the near boards by Franklin Regional. They look to clear the zone to the Panthers. Pass out front. Can't find Gerhold. It's cleared out by Franklin Regional. And now Kyle Novak trying to put some pressure on the Eagles goaltender. 6 minutes to play here in period number 1. It's a 1-1 hockey game. Puck down the near boards, knocked to neutral ice by the Eagles, but it's gathered back in. Or trying to work it back to a teammate, and the Eagles are offsides.
Or nearly had a breakaway, just could not handle that puck cleanly initially, caused him to delay a little bit, and ultimately the Eagles came in offsides, but nearly a golden opportunity to try to give his team its first lead of the contest.
Face-off won by the Eagles, and again South Park is offsides. Directly off of the face-off, blue jerseys in the zone prior to the puck.
You can see how much that power play has really swung the momentum. South Park was able to get that tally, and since then they've had the better of the play.
Yeah, the Eagles certainly haven't been able to put on a ton of offensive pressure, but they certainly have rallied defensively, playing significantly better than they did in the early goings. 5.5 minutes to play here in the first period. Puck cleared out by the Eagles. Now it's kept in by the Panthers. Now the Eagles have an opportunity to clear, and again knocked back in by the Panthers. Finally, to neutral ice, the disc will go, and a shot onto net coming from the center ice point. Kicked away by Walker, and we will have a...
Offsides on goal, I believe, was the call on that one. And they will send it deep into Panthers territory.
I didn't see the call from the official along the near side. Apparently a Panther was offsides, and that is what the reason for the face-off down on the far end is. Face-off won by Franklin Regional, but they cannot clear the zone, at least as of yet. 5 minutes to play here in the period as Franklin Regional trying to put on another offensive attack. Dakota McIntyre has the puck knocked away by the Eagles, and now South Park looking to apply some pressure. Skating through traffic goes Yost, but it's knocked away by Franklin Regional. To the near boards it comes. The Panthers clear it. Bouncing it off in front of the South Park bench. And to the near boards where South Park clears it out again, but Franklin Regional corrals it defensively. Ethan Yohe working it to the near boards. Where it's scooped
stick
up
goes
by
flying.
And who is without a stick? It's a South Park player. Yost now will gather it in for South Park, but Franklin Regional is able to clear the zone again. Skating through traffic when Ethan Bennett, the lone goal scorer for the Panthers. Zandier trying to weave his way around the defender, leaves the puck off for Linnetz, and Linnetz can't pull the trigger cleanly. The puck stays in, at least for the moment, for South Park. Zandier can't get it away from a defender, as Franklin Regional again trying to clear it out. And it seems like the Eagles are putting more and more pressure on ever since they scored that power play goal.
Yeah, and the Panthers having some of the same issues that the Eagles have had in terms of trying to get the puck out of their zone and get into transition offense.
Skating behind the Eagles' cage went Nick Coretta, and Coretta put it out front. No teammate there, and it's skated down along the near boards for the Eagles. 3.5 minutes to play here in the first period of this tied hockey game. Hickey with the puck for South Park along the near boards. Working it back, and out near the blue line it'll go, where it's knocked out by Huffman. Knocked back the other way by South Park as they'll head right to left across your computer screen, whether you're watching or listening. Along the far boards, cleared out by Franklin Regional. Walton trying to dump it back, but it's gathered in by Franklin Regional for the moment. Panthers offsides, they touch up, and the zone is cleared out by the Eagles before any trouble. Now Campbell trying to weave around a Panther defender. Puck knocked away by a white jersey. And Franklin Regional looks to set the offensive attack. Cross-ice pass. Morrow with it down the near boards. Morrow trying to work it onto the net, and the puck is bounced around the midsection of Shane Walker. Finally, he's able to corral the puck, and some late contact out front as Cameron Huffman hits the deck. Cooler heads prevail, and no penalty is called.
Yeah, even though Mara didn't get a prime scoring chance because he was at a tough angle, really an impressive play just to receive that pass, able to carry it in stride, pull it from behind him to in front, and then get into transition, bring it into the offensive zone with speed.
Face off to the left-hand side of Shane Walker for the South Park Eagles, and the face-off goes neutral, but it's cleared out by Franklin Regional. A slapper by Cook knocked aside by the Eagles. And South Park had the possession in the neutral zone, but it's taken away by the Panthers, at least for the moment. Now gathered back in by South Park. They'll pull it back and then try to press the issue again. Gerhold into Panther ice. Puck knocked aside but gathered back in by South Park. A wrister by Campalong, knocked to the near boards by Franklin Regional. And the Panthers can't clear as the possession maintained by South Park. A wrister under the net, kicked aside. Gerhold pulled the trigger and Payon was able to knock it to the near boards. And now Franklin Regional looks for an offensive rush. A shot from the blue line, and Walker had a tough time corralling the puck after it bounced off of his pads.
Yeah, Walker, that one nearly got away from him. I think it went off of his leg pads. It kind of sprung out. That's all about rebound control. Luckily for him, he was able to reach out, lunge, and get the face-off before any of the Panthers were able to jump on that loose puck.
Face-off again to the left side of Shane Walker. Eagles win the face-off. And Franklin Regional dumping it back in again. Skating behind his own net with it is Daniel Natero. To the near board, Yost leaving it off for Zandier, but it's knocked back by the Panthers. Scooped up again by Natero. Down along the near boards where Franklin Regional continues to press the issue and keep the puck in Eagles ice. 1:20 to play here in the first period. Down along the near boards, gathered in by Yost. He'll work it up to Linnetz. Now Zandier. Zandier 1-on-2. Wrister under the net. And it's covered up by Nicholas Payon. And Payon stepped out high to cut off the angle and covers up. And there'll be a face-off to his left-hand side with 1:09 to play in this tied first period.
Even when Zandier comes in 1-on-2, he's still able to generate a good scoring chance. That's a guy that you cannot give any space to. He was able to unleash a wrister there. Luckily for Franklin Regional, Payon was up to the task and was square to the shot.
Skating left to right comes Ethan Bennett for Franklin Regional, and Bennett is tripped up. Walton is going to be calling for the trip for South Park, and we will see the Panthers go on to the power play for the next 1:01. And that'll carry into period number 2 unless the Panthers take the lead in the next 61 seconds.
As Walton heads to the box, this will be the first chance of the evening now for Franklin Regional to show off their power play acumen.
Again, face off to the left-hand side of Shane Walker. Face off won by the Panthers. A weak wrister put out in front by Gismondi, knocked aside by the Eagles, but gathered in far boards by Huffman. Huffman trying to work it out front, and instead skating back with it is Barely. Barely trying to work it back for Gismondi, but the puck squirts out to center ice. And Franklin Regional has to retreat to get on sides, and some pressure applied in the neutral zone by the Eagles, preventing Franklin Regional from getting a good offensive rush on here with 30 seconds to play in the first period. Tie hockey game, Panthers on the power play. Here come the Eagles with an opportunity shorthanded. They will skate 2-on-1 cross ice. The puck goes high, though, to the midsection of Linnetz. And I do believe the officials are going to call a high stick on the puck.
Yeah, could have been a 2-on-1 there momentarily for South Park. Just not able to get the numbers to work in their favor. And we'll see now the faceoff's going to come just outside of the Franklin Regional zone. Just 17 seconds remaining in this period. Not much time for the Panthers to go to work on this power play.
Puck down the near boards, kept in neutral ice by the Eagles for now. Campalong knocking it back into Panthers ice. And 2 seconds, 1 second, and that will do it for period number 1. We will head to the second period tied up at 1 apiece. It's Franklin Regional 1 and South Park 1. You're watching and listening to PIHL High School Hockey, brought to you by Trib Total Media here on MSA Sports.
Own your piece of hockey history with a Penguins game-used jersey. Visit J&J Distributing at www.jjdistributing.biz and check out one of their largest selections of Penguins game-worn jerseys from your favorite Pens, past and present. Or call 724-752-1556. J&J Distributing buys, sells, and trades some of hockey's most prized possessions, including the Penguins game-worn jerseys, Penguins practice jerseys, minor league jerseys, and new and game-used equipment. Browse their inventory today at www.jjdistributing.biz.
This is Adam Horner, and as promised last year, Josh Roundtree is here to help promote Season 10 of the PIHL Power Play right here on the MSA Sports Network.
But after so many years of coverage, where can we turn for some great hockey wisdom that we haven't yet? How about the head coach of the Mighty Ducks, Gordon Bombay?
Let's have fun out there. Flying V! Soft hands. You don't shoot the puck to your teammate, you sail it to him.
And don't forget the most important piece of advice ever given by our mentor, Hans.
Wear thick socks, Gordon.
Catch the PIHL Power Play every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock on MSASports.net.
Quick intermission between periods 1 and 2. We are back underway here in the second period. Panthers on the power play as we begin the second frame. 48 seconds to go in that power play after the penalty by the Eagles, but the Eagles have had the better of the play since they scored their power play goal about halfway through the first period. Adam Gusky, Sean Myers on the call for you here on the MSA Sports Network. Thank you for joining us no matter where you are across the globe. Panthers trying to clear it out here and get a rush on as time continues to tick on this power play opportunity for the Panthers. Franklin Regional in the home white, skating right to left across your computer screen. The Eagles in their Road Royal Blues left to right across your frame. Rister on the shorthanded opportunity there by Kirk Zandier, gloved by Payon. And with 5 seconds to go here, it looks like the Eagles will dodge the bullet on their first shorthanded opportunity of the game.
Yeah, really not much pressure at all from Franklin Regional. As you mentioned, the shorthanded opportunity by South Park probably equaled any of the chances that the Panthers had. They just really could not get offensive zone time whatsoever.
First period shots on goal 10-5. Franklin Regional over South Park, but it seemed like with those 5 shots, the Eagles had better scoring opportunities while the Panthers had time for just putting pucks on net. A slapper by Linnetz, blockered aside by Payon. And the Panthers can't clear it. It's kept in by the Blue Jerseys. Linnetz, backhanded shot, kicked aside by Payon. Gathered in by the Panthers. Along the near corner it'll come, where Bartefay finally clears it out for Franklin Regional. Skating quickly is Newell through traffic. Trying to put it on to Shane Walker, but it's knocked aside by a Eagle defender. Dumped back in by the Panthers after South Park clears the zone. And again, it's kicked out by the South Park Eagles. Back behind their own net come the Panthers with the puck. Kept in along the near boards by the visiting South Park Eagles. Puglisi trying to dump it to the far corner where it's skated down by Hunter Linnetz. Gathered in one-handed along the near boards by Bartefay. They'll work it far boards for Drake Brown. Brown settling the puck, trying to work it out front. Skating behind the Panther, rather behind the Eagle net goes the Panther. But the puck squirted loose and South Park able to keep it away from danger, but not able to clear the zone. Just over 2 minutes played here in period number 2. South Park and Franklin Regional knotted up at 1 apiece. Corralling the puck, Ethan Yohe for Franklin Regional. They'll try to push the issue offensively. Down along the near corner. Some white shirts digging for it. Out in front it will go, but it's gathered in by South Park, and they will clear it out. And icing by South Park, and we will see a face-off deep inside of Eagles ice.
And one of the advantages, so to speak, in terms of the high school level in the PIHL, you're not penalized when you ice in terms of you can get new players, fresh players out there. That's what South Park decided to do, getting a new forward pairing, a new line, as they're able to get a few of those tired skaters off.
Rister put on net. Walker couldn't glove it cleanly. And finally, it's cleared out by South Park, gathered in by Gismondi, who had that sharp wrister onto the net a moment ago. Puck sails to the side of Walker, gathered in by Huffman for Franklin Regional. Out front it goes. Puck goes sky high after Coretta couldn't pull the trigger. Eagles trying to press the issue now offensively. Gathering it in along the near blue line is Bartefay. And finally, the Eagles will be onside so they can try to press the offensive issue. But Cameron Huffman gathers it in for the home Panthers. And Franklin Regional will dump and bring on a few fresh bodies. 12-8, the shot lead for Franklin Regional. Hickey, backhander towards the net. Puck sailed wide, and Payon had to kind of stretch himself out to knock that puck to the near boards.
Something maybe that South Park can exploit. Maybe see them throw some longer shots on goal, because that time, as you mentioned, Payon seemed like he misjudged it initially off the stick.
Puck to the far boards, knocked in by Zandier. It'll sail behind Payon, but it's settled down by South Park. Franklin Regional able to push it back to the near boards and clear it out of the zone by Kyle Novak. Novak leaves it back for teammate Rafferty. And now the offense forced to be reset by Gismondi in the neutral zone. Puck taken back by the Eagles. Through traffic goes Natero. Out front on his can is Payon, but the puck squirts to the far boards and out of danger.
And Payon went sprawling for a cross-ice pass. I don't think the Eagles ever got that one on goal, however.
Fresh bodies on again for Franklin Regional as the Eagles will pressure the issue. Puck sailing behind the net of Nicholas Payon. Kept in again by the Eagles on the high left side. Taken away, though, by a Franklin Regional Panther. It's barely weaving around the defender and the goaltender. And it's a goal for Franklin Regional as Zachary Barely able to take the puck away at the corner and skid it all the way around to score for Franklin Regional. And the Panthers have the lead back 2-1.
And what a nice goal there by Barely as he showed his speed and then his finishing ability. He capitalized on a stake. And Nataro on defense, not able to handle the puck, tried to make a move, not able to get past Barely, who took it with speed and then was able to finish. A big goal there for Franklin Regional as it looked like South Park was gaining momentum on its side.
12:25 to play here in period number 2. Of course, after the second period is over, we'll have an extended intermission. That'll give us an opportunity to take you through the numbers through the first period and second period as well. Eagles trying to put some offensive pressure on. Puck kicked aside by Payon, the Panthers netminder, but South Park corralling the offensive. Shot goes high. Payon gloves it to the ice. Out high it'll go. Puglisi trying to slap one to the puck. It's knocked to the ice by Orr. A high stick on the puck. The officials say play will continue as Franklin Regional was able to gather in possession, and now Franklin Regional able to clear the zone. Knocked back in by the Eagles as the puck never did clear that blue line, and the Eagles again able to skate towards goaltender Payon, and finally Franklin Regional able to skate out of there with it. Puck pushed down into the center of the ice, but gathered in by South Park as they'll retreat and hold the disc. Near boards it come, and a whistle is blown, and with 11-12 to play here in the second period, it is Franklin Regional 2 and the South Park Eagles 1.
And for Beerley on that impressive goal, that's his team leading 17th tally now of the season, pushes him to 27 points.
Puck sails across the ice, scooped out by the Eagles. 2-on-2 as Hickey skates down the far boards, pressured by a white jersey. Puck knocked away by Bennett and pushed to the near side by Beerley. Out high it will go for Bennett. Knocked back by the Eagles. And now a puck rifled into the South Park bench, dangerously close to KOing the South Park coach along that far side.
Yeah, heads up whether you're on the ice or on the bench when that puck comes soaring. We mentioned we luckily have the net in front of us to protect us, but the players and coaches on the bench not as fortunate.
Face off. Zandier pushing it forward. Yost scoops it up. Puck squirts loose out front. And the wrister put behind the goaltender, Payon by Hunter Linetz. Linetz picked up the loose puck on the right side of the cage and was able to bury it into the back of the twine to tie this game up at 2-all.
And that time, Payon was down on the ice, just not able to get back and recover as Linnetz came in, picked up the loose puck, and was able to distribute it into the open net. And this one really, Adam, seems like it's going to go back and forth the whole way. You've seen teams, this is a boxing match right now where they're exchanging blows, and that time the big one comes in favor of the Eagles.
That goal set up by the faceoff win by Zandier, and then the Eagles continuing to apply pressure out in front of Payon. Franklin Regional looks to answer back as they have the puck in their own end, clearing it out to the neutral ice. Retreating for South Park and gathering it in is Kowalik. Out to Linnetz. Linnetz to Zandier, where the puck squirts away from Zandier. And Zandier will take it back for Franklin Regional, but it's cleared out by the Panthers at this point. Yost trying to work it forward to Zandier. Some contact in the neutral ice as the puck comes to the near boards. South Park retreating. Pushing it to the far side, but kept in by Franklin Regional. Centering pass, nobody there for the Panthers. And the Eagles try to clear the zone, but again, it's kept in by the home team. 13-10 is your shots through the first period and a half. Rister sails wide. Puck put towards Shane Walker, but knocked out of there by South Park. Now the Eagles trying to apply some more offensive pressure. Zandier has it knocked away for the moment by a Franklin Regional Panther, and retreating with it is Hunter Linnetz.
Linnetz, that was his 13th goal this season, came just a minute and 58 seconds after the Panthers took a 2-1 advantage.
8:55 to play here in the period number 2, and a high stick on the puck, whistle blows, and we will have a face-off out in neutral ice, I do believe. Again, 8:51 to play here in period number 2. It's a 2-2 hockey game, and the high stick on the puck in the neutral ice against South Park will back the puck all the way up to the right-hand side of Shane Walker.
An important face-off here as these shots have begun to balance out. It's now 13-10 in favor of Franklin Regional after it was 10-5 through the first 17 minutes.
Whistle blows again immediately after the face-off. 2-2 your hockey game here at Center Ice Arena in Delmont, PA. Adam Gusky, Sean Myers on the call for you here on the MSA Sports Network. Face-off, knocked back by the Panthers, and they will retreat and try to reset their offense, trying to gather the lead back as the puck goes high off of the netting along the near stands. And we'll have a face-off inside of Panther ice.
This pace has slowed down just a little bit with all these whistles over the last few minutes. We expected a pretty high-scoring affair thus far. We have 23 shots between the teams and 4 goals, on pace for about 8 goals in this contest as we're just about halfway through.
Shot by Orr, patted aside by Payon. And now Franklin Regional looks to skate and set up the offense, but it's cleared away by the Eagles. Kept in for the moment by the Panthers, but the Eagles clear it out. Skating 2-on-1 come the Eagles. A wrister off of iron. Gerhold pulled the trigger, but it hit off of the left post, and there was a trailer for the Blue Jerseys, but he couldn't pull the trigger either. On the other end comes Franklin Regional. The puck is kicked aside by netminder Shane Walker.
Back to that last chance. Gerhold, he had a 2-on-1. I think he fooled the netminder there. Payon thinking it was going to be passing. He decided to shoot it and rung it off the far crossbar. Lucky for Payon, it did not go in. It went into the corner safely away from him.
Cleared out by the Panthers. Strong hit along the near boards by Walton. As the puck goes back into Eagles ice, they'll clear it out to the neutral zone. And again, offensive pressure applied. A wrister put on net by Kircher, covered up by Payon. But South Park continuing to put pressure on the Panthers netminder.
Yeah, in the last few opportunities, they have been shooting low on Payon. I don't know if that's something maybe they picked up. Remember, these teams did meet earlier in the season, a 6-2 victory in favor of the Eagles. So clearly the last few opportunities, they've been shooting low on Payon.
Hickey won the faceoff for the moment, but as the puck goes in front of Payon, he'll cover up. And he'll have another face-off to the left-hand side. Hickey fighting for the face-off, but it's won by the Panthers. Knocked back by Newell, cleared out by Rafferty. Skating with it down the near boards comes Bartefay. Bartefay tries to center it out front. Walker will cover it up the corner of the net. Some pushing and shoving out there in front of the South Park cage. Cooler heads prevail, and we will see the net set back and a face-off to the right of Shane Walker.
And Walker, not the best statistical season from his perspective. His goals against coming in just shy of 4.5. His save percentage at .810, but he does have that 7-3 mark, and he's certainly benefited from this explosive offense, although I'm sure he'd like to see some better defense in front of him.
Puck cleared out by South Park. They'll skate 2-on-3. Yost hesitates, works it off Zandier. Puck on the back of his stick. Tries to center. No blue jerseys there, though it's skated down, pushed behind the net by Sikora, and gathered in by Zandier. Pushing and shoving out in front of the Panthers net. And now the puck skated down by those two combatants. A scrum for it, as fighting for it is Lynette's. Out front it goes, but the Panthers kick it away from netminder Payon. Now Payon has to kick it to the far boards, and out of danger it goes for the moment.
Using his pads again was Payon as another long shot came through from the point after the Panthers momentarily struggled to clear the zone.
Puck knocked back in by the home Panthers. Rafferty along the far side. Puck trickles through the front of the net, but knocked aside by Eagles defenders. The shots have turned in favor of South Park as they now lead in the shot category 14-13 with 6 minutes to play in period number 2. Yost gathers it in for South Park along the far boards, knocking it back for Zandier, but cleared out by the Panthers. They'll skate quickly. Bennett, who had the first goal of the game, lost the handle. Now it's worked back out high left side. Merlina off the glass, it'll carry to the far boards for Cook. Franklin Regional trying to push it out front is Beerley, but it's knocked out by the Eagles. And skating back to gather in is Merlina again for the Panthers. Puck put out front. Merlina gathers it in for the Panthers. Knocked to the near boards, McIntyre. McIntyre putting it on to netminder Walker. Walker gloves it, covers up, and there'll be a face-off in South Park ice. 2-2 your hockey game with 5:14 to play in period number 2.
Yeah, a brief 3-on-2 opportunity there for the Panthers. McIntyre just a little too wide. Decided just to throw it on goal. The easy save there for Walker as he covers up and allows his team to try to win a defensive zone face-off.
Face-off won by Franklin Regional. Wrister onto the net by Eric Festa. Again gloved by Walker. And we'll see another face-off to the right-hand side of Walker. And we have seen a lot of face-offs here in period number 2. Back behind the net, the puck will go. Gathered in by Franklin Regional. Centering pass, trigger pulled by Morrow, but it's kicked aside by Walker. And the good save by Walker prevents the third goal of the game for the Panthers.
What an opportunity by Morrow as he got a centering pass, and I don't know if he missed that one or Walker's up to the task. Either way, a great opportunity.
Slapper onto the tape of a defender. But the puck put into the net by Franklin Regional. There was a Panther to the left-hand side of the cage, and able to put that one into the back of the net was Cameron Huffman. I do believe, was it Huffman or no? It may have been Coretta who scored the goal for Franklin Regional. Either way, it'll be a goal for the Panthers, and Franklin Regional seizes the lead back 3-2.
Yeah, and we can say decisively it was Ethan Yohe from the point that took that blast. I believe it might have been Huffman. We're going to try to get word, if not momentarily, potentially between the second and third period. But either way, a big tally there by Franklin Regional after sustained time because of a pair of offensive zone faceoff wins.
What we do know is the second number of the player to the left-hand side of the cage that got the goal for Franklin Regional had a 6 as the second number in his number, and that was either Huffman or Coretta. Both players were on the ice at that point.
Yeah, my suspicion is Huffman, but we will try to clarify that for you.
Puck along the near board. Zandier looking to tie it up for the Eagles in this 3-2 hockey game with 4 minutes to play in the second period. Franklin Regional, who has held the offensive attack for a while now, trying to dig it out on their own end. Panthers kick it to the far boards. South Park knocking it back. 3:40 to play here in the second period. 3-2, Franklin Regional on top of the South Park Eagles. Franklin Regional still having a tough time clearing it out. Finally, it's knocked out by Gismondi. Knocked deep by Novak. Far boards it'll go where it's scooped up by Fusting. South Park can't clear it in as Fusting knocks it around behind the net to the near boards. Scooped up by the Eagles, and they will clear the zone, and the puck will sail to the right-hand side of netminder Payon, where it's scooped up by a defender back there in Merlina. And as Merlina clears it out, the Panthers look to go on the offensive attack again. Ooh, hitting the deck hard. I think losing an edge there was a Eagle back there in Sakura, and he's slow to get up. On the other end, a tie hockey game. What a beautiful pass right onto the stick of Daniel Natero, and he knocked the Gatorade bottle sky high on that goal, and we are tied up at 3-3 with 2:47 to play in the second period.
Yeah, and for the second time this period, it's South Park answering a Panthers goal with a goal of their own, that time Natero. Just a minute and 53 seconds after Franklin Regional once again took advantage, as you mentioned, popped the water bottle as he roofed it over Payon.
Great pass onto the tape of Natero for that goal. Face-off win by the Eagles. They try to take their first lead of the game as they are on the offensive attack. Out on the high left side, it's Yost. Out front, the puck is loose. It's cleared out by Franklin Regional. Panthers look to reclaim the lead. Puck put out front, but knocked aside by an Eagle defender to the near boards. Cleared out by South Park for the moment. Puck left off for McLean Walton. And now here comes Bartefay for Franklin Regional, trying to weave his way through defenders. Now a scrum out there as Bartefay covers up a stick of Puglisi. Hard hit out in front of the net. And now we've got a bit of extracurriculars going on as Bartefay was going hard with Puglisi out in front of the net. And the South Park fans not at all happy with the play of Bartefay.
And we did get clarification. It was Cameron Huffman that got that third goal for Franklin Regional just before Nataro was able to tie it up.
And a penalty will be assessed to Bartefay. Bartefay, who continued to pick at Puglisi, and Puglisi really was able to hold his discipline and not retaliate, at least retaliate to the point of evening up the penalties. So the foul against Bartefay, rather the penalty against Bartefay, put South Park in the man-up situation here. 1:50 to play here in the second period. 3-3 hockey game. Power play for the South Park Eagles.
And the Eagles capitalized on their first power play opportunity, that coming back in the first period, as it was Zandier that was able to get the power play tally.
Gerhold trying to leave it back for Zandier, but it's knocked away by the Panthers. Clock winding, under 2 minutes to play here. Eagles fight for it. Worked out to Natero. Natero, who has the tying goal. Up top, Orr. Rister knocked back by Bennett. Bennett trying to skate through the neutral zone. Still applying pressure. And finally the puck knocked away by South Park Eagles, retreating defensively. Now the Eagles look to respond on the offensive end. Orr hits the deck along the near boards. Cleared out by Franklin Regional again.
This game's getting awfully physical here as the second period has progressed.
1 minute to play. 3-3 is your score here in the second period. Puck stopped at center ice by Huffman. Huffman, who has the third goal of the game for Franklin Regional, trying to work his way back in. And we'll see a face-off off of a whistle here with 50 seconds to play in the second period.
So far, the Panthers penalty killers doing the job, not allowing entry for South Park, and they've even generated a few chances of their own, trying to get the short-handed opportunities. Potentially a 7-second carryover if the Panthers are able to kill off these 50 seconds here remaining in the period.
Face-off won by the Panthers. Eagles retreating here. Kept in, though, with it, Coretta. Coretta dumping it back. The Eagles forced to retreat. They'll gather it in. Not much of a power play thus far here for the Eagles in this opportunity. 30 seconds to play here in the period. Here comes Zandier. Zandier weaves through traffic. Puck out in front of Payon and knocked out by Franklin Regional. Walker skates it down, but it's kept in by Newell. Along the near boards, Newell fighting for it with Puglisi. And that will be the end of period number 2. We will head to the third period with a tie hockey game. The game started tied. The first period ended in a tie, and we have played now 34 minutes of hockey, and it's 3-3. Franklin Regional and South Park knotted up here at the Center Ice Arena. We're going to step away. When we return, we'll take a look at the numbers through the first two periods. You're tuned in to PIHL High School Hockey, brought to you by Trip Total Media on the MSA Sports Network.
Attention all teenagers in the South Hills. If you need something to do on a Friday night, look no further than the TGIF Skate at the Mount Lebanon Ice Arena. Featuring a live DJ, big screen TV, special effects lighting, and games from 8 to 11, it's the place to be this winter. Mount Lebanon Ice Arena also offers an after-school skate for younger children, Fridays from 4:30 to 6 p.m., and a full range of instructional programs for all ages. For more information, call 412-561-4363 or visit mountlebanon.org.
The team at S-Mark takes great pride in the company they've built and their growing presence in Pittsburgh. Strong values, steadfast dedication, and unwavering commitment extends well beyond the walls of S-Mark facilities into virtually every facet of our local communities. From ongoing support for critical health and human services for families and children to youth sports and recreation programs. It's the many faces of S-Mark that touch lives, instill hope, and provide opportunities to enhance and enrich the world around us. S-Mark is proud to extend its support of local communities through its sports sponsorship with the MSA Sports Network.
Want to learn how to ice skate or play hockey like they do in the PIHL? Looking for a good place to throw that winter birthday party? If you answered yes, Blade Runners is the place to go for public or private skating sessions, plus learn to skate and learn to play hockey classes. And don't forget to check out PIHL game action at their two locations in Harmarville and Warrendale. For more information on ice time, class and game schedules, or party planning, visit their website at www.bladerunnersice.com. See you at the rink.
The history books are filled with the names of great athletes and great teams from Western Pennsylvania. They share stories of great victories and stunning defeats, but they all have one thing in common. They know the championship season is the time to be first. First Commonwealth Bank, proud sponsor of the WPIAL and the best high school athletes in Western Pennsylvania. First Commonwealth, time to be first.
Life is about having the confidence to know you can do anything, right? I get that at Carlo.
I graduated with top awards, but beyond the classroom, Carlo helped me learn a lot about myself.
Carlo brings out the best in you.
I know I'm going to be a fantastic nurse.
I know whatever I come across, I'll be prepared.
I can't think of a better place to start the rest of my life, because at Carlo, I know I matter.
I matter.
I matter.
Enroll at Carlo University. Visit carlo.edu.
Energy assistance is available for people's customers this winter. LIHEAP, the Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program, provides grants to help pay winter heating bills. These grants are not loans and do not need to be paid back. Funding is limited this winter, so it is important to apply for LIHEAP now. Learn more about how a LIHEAP grant can help you or someone you know. Find out if you're eligible for LIHEAP by calling 1-866-827 888-442-1281 or visit peoples-gas.com/LIHEAP.
Own your piece of hockey history with a Penguins game-used jersey. Visit J&J Distributing at www.jjdistributing.biz and check out one of their largest selections of Penguins game-worn jerseys from your favorite Pens, past and present. Or call 724-752-1556. J&J Distributing buys, sells, and trades some of hockey's most prized possessions, including the Penguins game-worn jerseys, Penguins practice jerseys, minor league jerseys, and new and game-used equipment. Browse their inventory today at www.jjdistributing.biz.
East Suburban Sports Medicine, the proven leader in physical therapy. We'll help you get back into the game. Feel better, play better, live better. When your doctor suggests physical therapy, be a healthy consumer and ask for us by name. Experts in caring for high school athletes. East Suburban Sports Medicine. Take it from me, Bill Hillgrove. It's the best care, hands down.
The team at S-Mark takes great pride in the company they've built and their growing presence in Pittsburgh. Strong values, steadfast dedication, and unwavering commitment extends well beyond the walls of S-Mark facilities into virtually every facet of our local communities. From ongoing support for critical health and human services for families and children to youth sports and recreation programs. It's the many faces of S-Mark that touch lives, instill hope, and provide opportunities to enhance and enrich the world around us. S-Mark is proud to extend its support of local communities through its sports sponsorship with the MSA Sports Network.
It's a 3-3 hockey game here at the Center Ice Arena in Delmont, Pennsylvania. Adam Gusky and Sean Myers on the call for you here on the MSA Sports Network. Good to have you along with us no matter where you are here on the network.
We have some fans listening in all the way down in Florida, so all across the country, potentially all across the globe for this contest.
Always fantastic to know that we've got folks listening, whether it be across the country or across the world, and that's the great thing about these webcasts. Whether you're tuned in video or audio-wise, you are able to get coverage of your favorite local sports teams, whether it's high school football in the fall or, of course, some boys and girls basketball here in the wintertime, and, of course, our great coverage of the PIHL. Speaking of the PIHL, let's take a look at the Blade Runner scoring summary through the first two periods.
Yeah, and in the first period, it's the Panthers that get on the board first, 5:04 into that period. Ethan Bennett, assisted by Colton Cook and Joseph Merlina, puts the Panthers up 1-0, but South Park responds at the 9:16 mark. Kirk Zandier, a power play tally from Joseph Hickey and Tyler Gerhold, ties it at 1, and that was the score as we headed to the second period. In that second period, the Panthers once again take the advantage. Zachary Barely, an unassisted tally at the 4:31 mark, puts his team up 2-1. That would be short-lived, however, as it's 6:29 portion of that second period. Hunter Linnetz from Kirk Zandier and Brian Yost ties it up at 2 goals apiece. Then it was Cameron Huffman from Ethan Yohe at 12:20 that puts Franklin Regional again ahead 3-2, but once again South Park responds for the 14:13 mark. Daniel Nataro from Brian Yost and Kirk Zandier was able to tie it up at 3 goals apiece. These shots in that first period, it was 10-5 in favor of Franklin Regional, but reversed in favor of South Park 12-6 in the second period. So we have a pretty even tally in terms of shots, and obviously even at 3 goals apiece. Really a back and forth contest. Franklin Regional has never trailed in this one, but they can't put away the Eagles as South Park has been able to respond positively after each Franklin Regional goal.
Again, your score is 3-3. The Franklin Regional Panthers and the South Park Eagles. Adam Gusky and Sean Myers on the call for you here on the MSA Sports Network. Sean with the Blade Runners scoring summary. Blade Runners with locations in Warrendale and Harmerville. As we look forward to these two teams' next games, Franklin Regional will travel to Greensburg-Salem. They will take on Greensburg-Salem in Greensburg at the Kirk Nevin Arena, while South Park will take on South Fayette at the Iced Castle. That game this upcoming Thursday, 6:40 face-off for the South Park Eagles, while Franklin Regional will face off at 7:15 this upcoming Thursday Again, Sean, as we take a look at these two teams, what an evenly matched game this is, and who'd have thunk it a year ago with Franklin Regional, the dire straits they were in AA. They shift down to single A, and they are doing great things as they are atop the Tier 1 East, or Tier 2 East Division, while South Park, of course, the top team in the Tier 2 West Division in this back-and-forth hockey game.
Yeah, a lot of credit for the Panthers has to go to head coach Brian Kurtz. He's done a great job. As we mentioned, just staggering statistics when you look at last season. The Panthers did not win a game. They were 0-21-1, and they only had 21 goals in their 22 contests. So averaging less than a goal per game. Conversely, they allowed 182 goals. When you look at what they've done coming into this contest tonight, 74 goals for, 62 goals against. Obviously, 3 goals can be added to that on both categories, but really a great turnaround and a similar story to South Park, not quite as drastic, but pretty similar because this is a team that only captured 2 wins a year ago. They were 2-19. Really turned things around, and they've done it with an aggressive preseason schedule. They had 9 times on the ice before they opened the regular season against Greensburg-Salem on October 13th. That won a 13-4 victory in favor of the Eagles, and a new head coach, and really it's been a big change here. Derek Podolak has come back here, a former player at South Park many years ago, and he's done a great job revitalizing this team. So you mentioned an even contest. I think it's pretty fitting for where these teams have been and where they are now in this season in terms of their turnaround, that this one is going to potentially go down to the final seconds. And we mentioned these teams played before. That one 6-2 in favor of South Park. The Eagles certainly not having nearly as an easy a time of it here tonight as it's been. Franklin Regional has always had that lead, and South Park has not been able to get over that hump, but the Eagles have done a great job staying in it and ultimately was able to get the equalizer there with just 2:47 remaining in that second period to set up a very interesting third period.
Zamboni just finishes putting on a fresh cut onto the ice. The ice will dry. The teams will take a few more minutes rest, and they will take the ice momentarily, and we will return momentarily to get you set for period number 3. It's a 3-3 hockey game here at the Center Ice Arena. When we return, it'll be the third period here on MSA Sports. Today's broadcast brought to you by Trib Total Media.
Hi, this is former St. LaSalle, Mount Pleasant Trinity basketball coach Joe Dunn, here to tell you that I'll be joining Dawn Rebel and Johnny Lee on the WPIL Roundball Report, Wednesday nights at 6 p.m. here on the MSA Sports Network. There we go.
Coach, this is a 30-second commercial.
What? Whose call was that? That's a terrible call. I mean, I just sat down here. I'm all, this is the kind of stuff that happens to me.
We have another ex-coach.
It's just one of those things.
Join us for the WPIL Roundball Report Wednesday nights at 6 o'clock here on the MSA Sports Network.
You're killing me.
UPMC Sports Medicine is the region's largest and most experienced center dedicated to caring for athletes of all levels. And as we celebrate more than 25 years of world-class care, we're proud to offer more services, have more physicians, and treat more student athletes than any other sports medicine provider in the region. Why would you choose to go anywhere else? To learn more, call 1-855-93-SPORT or visit upmcsportsmedicine.com.
What you want is to stay warm this winter by logging on to www.msasports.net each and every day. We have all the schedules, the scores, the rankings, and the standings of the high school winter sports, plus weekly shows like Inside the WPIL Wrestling Circle, the PIHL Power Play Show, and the WPIAL Roundball Report, along with live and archive broadcasts of whatever your favorite high school sport is. Anytime, anywhere, always there, every day this winter. It's the MSA Sports Network.
The history books are filled with the names of great athletes and great teams from Western Pennsylvania. They share stories of great victories and stunning defeats, but they all have one thing in common. They know the championship season is the time to be first. First Commonwealth Bank, proud sponsor of the WPIAL and the best high school athletes in Western Pennsylvania. First Commonwealth, time to be first.
Attention all teenagers in the South Hills. If you need something to do on a Friday night, look no further than the TGIF Skate at the Mount Lebanon Ice Arena. Featuring a live DJ, big screen TV, special effects lighting, and games from 8 to 11, it's the place to be this winter. Mount Lebanon Ice Arena also offers an after-school skate for younger children, Fridays from 4:30 to 6 p.m., and a full range of instructional programs for all ages. For more information, call 412-561-4363 or visit mountlebanon.org.
It's getting cold outside and getting dark way too early. That must mean one thing. Wrestling season is back. As the mats get rolled out in a gymnasium near you, be sure you tune in to Inside the WPIHL Wrestling Circle, Monday nights at 7 p.m. on the MSA Sports Network.
We'll provide all the scores from around the WPIHL, focus on key matches, talk to coaches about their season, and provide in-depth analysis that you can't find anywhere else.
So cozy up around the fire and tune in to Inside the WPIHL Wrestling Circle every Monday night at 7 p.m. on the MSA Sports Network.
Set to begin period number 3 here at the Center Ice Arena in Delmont, Pennsylvania. Adam Gusky, Sean Myers on the call for you here on the MSA Sports Network. Today's broadcast brought to you by Trib Total Media. Good to have you along with us, whether you're watching or listening here on MSA Sports. It's the Panthers left to right across your computer screen. The Eagles right to left. Eagles in their road royal blue jerseys with the black pants. And the Panthers with their home whites and the blue pants. Wrister knocked aside as a sharp shot was put on by Tanner Orr, cleared out by the Panthers. And they'll try to press the issue, but an icing against the host Panthers. And there'll be a face-off to the right-hand side of Nicholas Payon.
Yeah, really, this contest tightly contested. And the one thing you look back to that power play tally for South Park, since then neither team has been able to generate much of anything on the man advantage. We'll see if that changes if either team gets another chance to go man up in this third period.
Penalty killed incidentally as there was a 7-second holdover on the power play for the South Park Eagles. Franklin Regional trying to push the issue. Panthers scoring the first goal, the second goal, and the third goal first. And South Park has been able to tie it up each time. Slapper goes wide. The shot missed by Merlina. On the deck was Walker, but the Eagles able to pull it away from danger. Kept in by South Park, or rather by Franklin Regional. Wrister put on net, gloved by Walker, but he couldn't maintain possession, and there was an Eagle luckily there to knock it aside if you're a South Park fan.
Yeah, it looked like Walker was fighting the puck a little bit on that last chance for Franklin Regional, as you mentioned, not able to glove it prior to that. He was a little late reacting to a low shot, but South Park was ultimately able to get out of danger, although they took an icing in the process. It's going to allow an offensive zone faceoff once again for the Panthers. Seems like it's been a recurring theme in this contest, offensive zone faceoffs for Franklin Regional.
15:32 to play in regulation. It's a 3-3 hockey game. Faceoff won by the Eagles. They'll try to push it up, but it's gathered in by Payon.
They're going to say that's icing,
wow.
But Payon touched it. Now, if he touched it behind that goal line, depending on where his stick was, if it had gone past the goal line, it is an icing. So I'm wondering, from our vantage point, we couldn't see exactly where he had his stick, but some of the fans, South Park, none too happy about that call.
South Park coach Derek Podolak won some clarification, and without much protest, he will accept the official's call. Face-off won by the Eagles. They'll skate quickly right to left on a 2-on-2 situation. Sikora trying to skate it down.
And injured player for South Park right now. I didn't see what happened, but
it's Kircher, incidentally, the player who I mistook for Sikora a moment ago. Kircher was the one skating quickly towards netminder Payon, and he is slow to get up. And an athletic trainer headed out to check on Kyle Kircher, the forward for the South Park Eagles.
Yeah, could not see what happened. Didn't seem like there was much contact. So he's making his way off the ice now. Sometimes when you're going in those corners, you just catch the butt of this stick. It sticks into the boards and ends up jabbing you potentially in the midsection. So,
yeah, Kircher was really favoring that right leg as he was aided towards the penalty box where A medic will take a look at him.
Keep an eye on him, see if he's able to come back to action. But as you mentioned, certainly looked like he was struggling to get off the ice.
Franklin Regional with the puck. Retreating with it is Yohe. Worked along the near boards as the Eagles maintain possession. Grister towards the cage by Walton. Kicked aside by Payon. Far boards it will go. Kept in by Puglisi for the moment. Puglisi has the puck on his stick now. Trying to work it out front. Puck knocked away, though, by the Panthers. Gathered in again by the Eagles, though. Or back behind the net. Centering pass knocked aside by Payon. Pressure being applied by the Eagles. Arister knocked aside as a good opportunity there for Gerhold. And Franklin Regional will clear it out of there. And the Eagles will have to skate it down in a no icing situation.
Pair of wraparound opportunities there for South Park. Potentially the Eagles might be able to sneak that one in the far side as they circle around.
Again, a centering pass by Gerhold, knocked aside by Franklin Regional, and they'll try to press the issue as dumping it in is Coretta for the white jerseys. Gerhold trying to allow it to clear out for the Eagles, but it's kept in by the Panthers. A wrister onto the net by Morrow. It's covered up by Walker, and a face-off to his left-hand side ensues.
You know, we've seen some rebound issues for Walker that time, able to corral that one as he absorbed it into his equipment. And once again, Franklin Regional is going to have a chance to get another offensive zone draw here.
Face-off won by Coretta. It's worked back to Gismondi. Back behind the cage where it's gathered in by Natero. Dug out by Zandier. And the puck goes in front of Walker where he'll cover it up. And some pushing and shoving again. And shoved down on top of Walker was a Franklin Regional Panther there. And the official steps in and things cool off, as on his backside was Cameron Huffman, who scored the tying goal late in period number 2.
At the high school level, typically you'll see two officials. Certainly their hands are full in these contests, trying to not only officiate the game, but make sure that the players don't mix it up too much.
Face-off won by the Panthers, and they put it immediately on the goal. Walker again covers up, and again we will see the face-off to the right-hand side of netminder Shane Walker.
Getting a little chippy there. That time Sikora smacked down on one of the Panther sticks as he was going towards the goal after the puck had been covered up.
Face-off won this time by the Eagles, but South Park cannot clear the zone. Lynette's digging for it with a couple of white jerseys along the near boards. Knocked aside for the moment by Sikora, but kept in by the Panthers. Around the boards it will go. It's cleared out by Yost. And Franklin Regional will try to retreat, but fast skating by Yost. He'll gather in the puck for the visitors. Yost trying to work it over to Zandier. Now Yost trying to dig it away as Zandier has it trapped along the far corner. Dug out, it'll sail behind Payon. And the puck is cleared out by Gismondi. Gismondi working off to Huffman. Out front, Gismondi can't pull the triggers. It's knocked away by a South Park defender. Out front the puck goes, but it sails to the boards behind Walker. Wraparound opportunity there for Coretta, and Walker will cover up as the puck was loose. And again we have some pushing and shoving. And from our vantage point, the puck was covered up. But apparently the puck was loose, and the Panthers continue to dig at it.
Yeah, you don't have to tell these players to play through the whistle. If they see the puck whatsoever, they're going for it. It's really been we've seen probably 5 or 6 faceoffs already in this period deep in South Park territory. It's critical for the Eagles that they're able to win these draws outright, or at least tie up the Panthers momentarily until they're able to get sound positionally.
And that's exactly what the Eagles did there. While Franklin Regional ultimately won the face-off, the Eagles were able to set up their defense and clear the zone out.
They can't give up any clear face-off chances for the Panthers with all the chances they've had on the face-offs.
Drake Brown rips a wrister from the top of the circle. It's gloved by Walker, and again we'll see a face-off. a stagnated pace here in the third period. Lots of face-offs through the first 5 minutes. Face-off won by the Eagles, zone cleared by the Panthers, or rather by the Eagles. Again, a shot put on net. Walker can't cover it cleanly, and now he will have to cover it up as the Panthers knocked it back in. Walker has to cover up, and we will see a face-off to his right-hand side again.
And Walker's dictating the pace of this contest right now. Clearly, he's comfortable slowing things down. He has a lot of faith, obviously, in his centers to win these draws as well.
Face-off won by the Panthers. Backhanded shot goes to the side of the net. It's scooped up by Bennett for the Panthers. Panthers working it back. Festa back to Bennett. Bennett out front. Tries to spin it towards the net. Now he'll have to retreat to the near boards to gather it in. Back behind the net it goes, then out front. Panthers can't pull the trigger. It's cleared out by the Eagles. They'll skate 3-on-3, or trying to press the issue. He lost the stick. As the puck goes to the far boards, Dakota McIntyre will gather it in for the Panthers. Now Bennett working it off for Bearley. Near boards it will come, scooped up by Bennett again. Bennett, who scored the first goal of the game, has been active over the last couple of minutes for the Panthers. Bennett trying to dig it out, but it's kept in by the Panthers, and we will see a penalty against the host team as the South Park Eagle is down on the deck. Down in that far corner, slow to get up, is the South Park player in Gismondi, or Puglisi rather. Puglisi, who was involved in an altercation early in this period, is slow to go to the bench, and we will see the Eagles head back to the power play as a penalty committed by Dakota McIntyre.
Yeah, the first penalty here in this third period. Remember, South Park got its first tally on the power play. This might be I'm thinking this is a 10-minute penalty because the Panthers have sent a second skater in there, most likely to serve the 2 minutes.
So that is exactly what it will be. There will be some sort of misconduct, whether it's a 2-10 or 2 in a game, but either way, we will see probably a 2-10 because McIntyre did stay in there. I believe McIntyre was the guilty party. And a power play opportunity here for the Eagles. Natero, high left. Trying to work it down the near boards. Send it out to Zandier. He can't pull the trigger, but it's worked out, and the shot is put on the net by Jacob Hickey, and Hickey's able to get the shot behind Payon, and the first lead of the game for the South Park Eagles comes with 10:34 to play in regulation.
Yeah, just 32 seconds into that power play, Hickey, the beneficiary, looked like the puck just coincidentally ended up right on his stick, and he wasted little time firing that one on goal. And as you mentioned, Adam, the first lead of the contest now for South Park as they get their second power play goal.
So Franklin Regional looking to determine who they are going to have out there. So after the goal, we have offsetting penalties, one against either team. So they will skate 5-on-5, but there will be an Eagle and a Panther in the penalty box for the next 2+ minutes.
Hickey, that is his 10th goal of the season, and certainly a big one here.
Incidentally, Hickey is one of the guilty parties in the extracurriculars after the whistle, and Hickey is in the sin bin. Out in front, Panthers putting the pressure on. Shots by Festa knocked aside by Walker.
Looked like Walker made a terrific pad save earlier, one of those chances from the Panthers.
Yeah, Fusting really putting the pressure on. Near boards, it'll come for Yost, but it's kept in. Hard hit along those boards by Puglisi, and the Eagles look to clear it out. Yost can't get the stick on the puck as it'll sail to the near boards. 4-3 the score, with South Park their first lead of the hockey game. Backhanded shot, knocked aside by Payon. Worked out by the Panthers. Bennett pushing it back behind Walker. It's scooped up by Natero. Natera works it out far boards, knocked to neutral ice by an Eagle. Knocked back behind Walker again. And the Panthers look to set the offense. Strong defensive play, though, by Linnetz. And the puck is cleared out by the Eagles. Neutral ice it'll go again. Scooped up by Zandier. 2-on-3 go the Eagles. Puck goes high. The Panthers gather it in. Out in front of Payon it will go. An opportunity for Zandier, kicked aside by Payon. Puck scooped up by Coretta for the Panthers. Cleared out by Franklin Regional down the near boards. It'll come for Morrow. Morrow knocking it to the side of Walker where it's gathered in by an Eagle. Zone cleared and it will touch a rafter. It looked like it was going to sail through the rafters and stay clean, but it does carom off of a rafter, and we will have a face-off top of the circle to the right-hand side of Shane Walker. 8:36 to play in regulation. It's 4-3. South Park leading Franklin Regional.
And now the question, how do the Panthers respond facing adversity? As we mentioned, the first deficit that Franklin Regional has had this contest. They still have plenty of time, over 8.5 minutes here. The officials trying to sort something out. Now looks like they're ready to go.
Yeah, one of the officials went over again to talk to Derek Podlak, the head coach of the South Park Eagles. Near boards it comes. Morrow trying to work it out front, but it's knocked away by a South Park defender. Cleared out by the Panthers, or rather by the Eagles. Campalong. Along the near boards it'll go. Now it'll sail to the far boards. Walton scoops it up for the Eagles and again clears it out. Panthers push it back in. Walton gathers it in for the South Park Eagles. Franklin Regional sending white jerseys at the cage. Puck gathered in by Franklin Regional, and the Panthers will tie it as the puck was loose in front of Walker. Going topside was Tyler Newell, and we're knotted up at 4-all.
Yeah, Newell just Johnny on the spot there. Is it all started with an errant clearing pass there by South Park. The turnover allowed Franklin Regional to get a quick shot on goal. Looked like it hit just off the side of the net, but came to Newell back in front, and he was able to distribute it in. And we get a very decisive response there from Franklin Regional, able to battle the adversity and tie this one up. And once again, it looks like this one's going to be back and forth all the way down to the wire.
Jacob Hipke and his co-combatant are now out of the penalty box, so Dakota McIntyre for Franklin Regional, who's serving the 10-minute misconduct, is the lone player for either team in the penalty box along the far boards. Hickey now trying to put pressure on goaltender Payon. 4-4 your score with 7 minutes and 35 seconds to play in regulation. Puck sailing towards Payon. Locked to the near boards. Festa can't gather it in cleanly for the Panthers. The Eagles keeping it in, at least for the moment. Hickey takes a stick to the backside and will dig it out. Still, South Park trying to keep it in along these near boards, and it's taken away by Fusting. Knocked to neutral ice and then pushed back in by South Park. Down along the near boards it will come. Cleared to center ice. But the Eagles can't dump it back in. The Panthers will apply some pressure. Puck slid past Walker. Out front it will go. Pulling the trigger but not getting a good shot was Yowie. And Yowie had 2 opportunities on that offensive rush for the Panthers.
Yeah, Walker just a little bit slow to respond on some of these chances for Franklin Regional. Looks like he's caught off guard sometimes on some of these tough angle shots. The Panthers starting to get the idea that they should just fire it from anywhere on the ice.
Shot goes wide on Walker. The miss on the cage by Beerley. Now Beerley with it. He'll knock it in. Walton will retreat for the Eagles. Trying to reset the Eagles offense, but the puck is kept in by Brown. Brown for the Panthers. Leaving it back. It'll sail behind the net where Novak tries to dig it out for Franklin Regional. Now again Brown with it. Zandier takes it away for the Eagles. Zandier to the far boards. Linnetz can't clear the zone. Rister put on the cage by Novak, covered up by Shane Walker, and Walker again will see a face-off to his right-hand side.
Novak not much on that one. He just threw it on net, forced Walker to make the save, and Walker once again covers it up and gets the face-off.
think Novak's thought process may have been if there's a rebound, Newell had a good opportunity to bury that one and gain the lead back for the Panthers. Newell won the faceoff for the moment for the Panthers, but it's dug out by the Eagles, and they will ultimately clear the zone. Knocked back by Brown for Franklin Regional, and will come to the near boards. Fighting for it, Tyler Newell. Dug out by Novak, back to Newell. And the Panthers knocked to the far boards. Scooped up by Gerhold for the moment. Cleared out by the Panthers. Now with the puck is Orr. Orr trying to work around the defender, and he'll be upended at the top of the circle. Franklin Regional with an opportunity to clear it out, and they do so. Walton to dump it back in for the Blue Shirts. Back behind the net, it'll come to the near corner. South Park trying to dig it out, but the Panthers clear it out. Sailing quickly comes Newell. Newell, wrister, and it'll sneak behind Walker! Somehow it got between the glove of Walker and the left post, and it's a 5-4 hockey game. Franklin Regional seizes the lead back.
And that time Newell goes short side, and as you mentioned, just snuck it through Walker. I think Walker is expecting something to be ripped on the far side towards his blocker hand, but ultimately Newell's able to get his second goal in a matter of 3 minutes and 3 seconds to once again give the Panthers the edge, this time 5-4.
So just under 5 minutes to play here. Franklin Regional has the lead 5-4. Face-off won by the Eagles, but it's gathered in quickly by Morrow, who wrists it into Eagles ice, where it's gloved by Walker, and there'll be a face-off to the right-hand side of Walker.
And for Newell, with this explosion over the last few minutes, looking for him here, how many goals he had coming into the contest.
Face-off won by the Eagles, or rather by the Panthers. A wrister put on, covered up by Walker, and a penalty by Cameron Huffman immediately after the puck was covered up by Walker. And Huffman will head to the penalty box. And a power play for the Eagles here with 4:48 to play in the third period. A prime opportunity to tie this match up.
And they're looking for their third power play, tally the contest. And how about this? Newell, just one goal coming in, and he gets two in the last 3 minutes and 3 seconds. Although, as you mentioned, Adam, the power play opportunity for South Park here to try to get the equalizer.
Now they put the penalty on the board properly. It was up initially for South Park, but instead they'll move it over to Franklin Regional, and that's where we will see the Eagles go on this power play. 1:40 to play in the power play, 4:25 to play in regulation. Eagles, who took their first lead at 4-3, but it's 2 unanswered for the Panthers to hold this 5-4 advantage. Zandier now with it for the Eagles. They'll try to work it off of Payon outside. And back behind the net it'll go. Dug out by Bennett and into neutral ice, where it will sail all the way into Eagles territory, and they'll be forced to retreat and gather it in with less than 4 minutes to play and just over 1 minute to go in the power play. Hickey leaving it back for a teammate, but no blue shirt was there. It's cleared out by the Panthers, and again the Eagles are forced to retreat, and Walker actually will have to cover it up as the puck was headed towards Walker. And there'll be a face-off in Eagles ice with 57 seconds to go in the Eagles power play, and a 1-goal lead for the Panthers.
Just a bit of indecisiveness right there for South Park as a pair of defenders were looking at each other to decide who's going to go after it. Neither one of them rushing over immediately, and as you mentioned, Walker has to cover it up as a result. We're going to get a timeout now as South Park's trying to draw something up to get back in this one with just 3:45 remaining and 57 seconds showing on the penalty to Franklin Regional.
Coach Derek Podolak using this opportunity to talk offense and obviously defense, the name of the game for Brian Kurtz, the head coach of the Franklin Regional Panthers. Again, looking forward for these two teams. Franklin Regional will hit the road, taking on Greensburg-Salem Thursday night, 7:15 face-off in Greensburg at the Kirk Nevin Arena, while the South Park Eagles will take on South Fayette at the Ice Castle on Thursday at 6:40.
It's a pretty convenient drive for Franklin Regional up to Greensburg. That's probably I would estimate less than 15 minutes from where we're at right now.
And not a long drive at all, just out Route 22, and then you head up 119, and it's right out there near Crabtree. 57 seconds to go in the power play for the South Park Eagles, but Franklin Regional has done a great job on this penalty kill thus far, and now they hold the advantage as they will face off against the Eagles inside of Eagles ice. Face off won by Franklin Regional's captain Zachary Beerley, and the Eagles will retreat and gather it in. Campalong going to the far boards where the puck is scooped up by Yost but kicked out by the Panthers, and Walker has to direct the puck to the far corner where the Eagles will again try to reset the rush here with 30 seconds to play in the power play and 3:15 to play in the hockey game. Linnetz has it on the high post near side, or high slot near side rather. Digging for it in the near corner, I believe was Hickey, but it's dug to the far side and out by Franklin Regional. And there has not been much of an offensive rush here in this power play for the South Park Eagles. And again, a blue line defensive play this time by Merlina will kill the penalty. A great penalty kill there for Franklin Regional, stymieing a prime opportunity for the Eagles to tie the game.
Yeah, that was a big one after a power play goal already in this third period from South Park. Franklin Regional up to the task with a great kill, and they're going to have a chance coming off it.
It's Newell on to Walker. Walker stops it. Out front it will go. Two Panthers had an opportunity. Neither could pull the trigger. Out again it will go to Newell. The puck is loose. Walker kicks it aside, and it's dug out by South Park. Knocked back in by the Panthers, but South Park will clear it out after the high stick on the puck by Franklin Regional. Zandier puts it on the cage. Payon covers it up, and Franklin Regional will see a face-off to the left of Payon. And with 2:10 to play here, Payon making a big stop on the leading scorer for South Park.
Yeah, big saves on both ends. First it was Walker, and then as you mentioned, Payon on a good chance there by South Park as the Eagles came in with speed, trying to look for the equalizer.
Shots thus far, 27-21. Franklin Regional has re-seized the lead, and a timeout taken here by Franklin Regional with 2:10 to play. The Panthers on top 5-4 here in this non-conference contest. Franklin Regional, the top team out of Single A Tier 1 East, while the Eagles are the top team out of Single A Tier 2 West.
I mentioned the top two teams from the Eastern and the top two teams from the Western Conference in Tier 2 qualify for the postseason.
Obviously, the class of Class Single A is Quaker Valley, the defending champs. And they're putting together a great season.
Yeah, how about 15 straight without a loss for the Quakers?
31 points this season for Quaker Valley. Their closest competition just behind them is Mars with 28 points. And nobody else even close to the upper 20s in Single A. Face-off won by Franklin Regional. They'll clear the zone. The Eagles forced to retreat, but Bennett, who scored the first goal for the Panthers, scoops it up, trying to put pressure on. Puck kicked in by Gismondi, and Yost is forced to retreat and gather it back in for South Park. Linnetz digging for it along those far boards. Bennett doing his part for the Franklin Regional Panthers. Now it's dug out by Barely. Out to the high right point. Gismondi can't pull the trigger clearly as it comes to the near boards. Knocked away by the Eagles and dug out by Festa. No, check that. That is Zandier. Zandier for the Eagles. Weaving through traffic. Rister onto the net. Goes wide, and it's 6-on-5 as far as the skaters go. An empty net for the Eagles. With it along that far corner is Hickey. Hickey to the near boards. And the Panthers trying to dig it out. A lot of blue jerseys sailing around Payon right now with under a minute to play.
Seeing a lot of urgency here from South Park.
Natero high on the left side. Knocking it back to behind the net of Payon. Payone's going to cover it up, and we'll have a face-off to his right-hand side.
Good opportunity there for South Park, and still plenty of time. 49 seconds remaining, especially if they get this face-off win. As we mentioned, the extra attacker is the net vacated down at the other end.
So Zandier will take the face-off for South Park. The puck sits idly on the ice. Now Natero rips one. It'll sail wide to the far corner or skates it down for South Park. Or working it back behind the net where Zandier digs it to the near boards. Franklin Regional fighting for it. And the Panthers had the possession momentarily, but Natero keeps it in. Puck bounces off of the head of a defender in Merlina, and it's cleared out by the Panthers. And an icing will be called with 22 seconds to play. Again, we'll see a face-off deep inside of Panthers ice. And right now, the pressure being applied by the Eagles, but the Panthers are up to the task.
Yeah, Franklin Regional potentially could milk this clock away if they win this face-off for South Park. If you win it, you want to send a lot of bodies in front, just try to get a deflection, try to get a rebound opportunity.
Face-off dug out by the Panthers. Puck knocked off of the boards, and it'll sail down this near ice again, crossing the goal line. No icing is called. And the puck goes out in front, and that will do it as the puck finds this tape of Cameron Huffman, and Huffman puts it into the net. And it's 6-4 with 6 seconds to play. So after the icing was waved off, the Panthers were able to gather in the loose puck. The Eagles not able to clear it out cleanly, and Huffman's goal will be the deciding factor in this one, as it's 6-4, Franklin Regional on top of South Park.
Huffman's second goal of the contest, this one able to seal the victory. And a good job there by Franklin Regional in the closing minutes. They came up strong defensively. That's been an issue all season long, but they were up to the task when it counted most in this one.
Again, 6-4 is your final score as the Franklin Regional Panthers defeat the South Park Eagles, avenging a loss earlier in the season when South Park was able to knock off the Panthers in a contest earlier this year. We're going to step away. When we return, we shift into the post-game show. You've been listening to PIHL High School Hockey, brought to you by Trib Total Media here on the MSA Sports Network.
Life is about having the confidence to know you can do anything right. I get that at Carlo.
I graduated with top awards, but beyond the classroom, Carlo helped me learn a lot about myself.
Carlo brings out the best in you.
I know I'm going to be a fantastic nurse.
I know whatever I come across, I'll be prepared.
I can't think of a better place to start the rest of my life, because at Carlo, I know I matter.
I matter.
I matter.
Enroll at Carlo University. Visit carlo.edu.
Want to learn how to ice skate or play hockey like they do in the PIHL? Looking for a good place to throw that winter birthday party? If you answered yes, Blade Runners is the place to go for public or private skating sessions, plus learn to skate and learn to play hockey classes. And don't forget to check out PIHL game action at their 2 locations in Harmarville and Warrendale. For more information on ice time, class and game schedules, or party planning, visit their website at www.bladerunnersice.com. See you at the rink.
Energy assistance is available for people's customers this winter. LIHEAP, the Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program, provides grants to help pay winter heating bills. These grants are not loans and do not need to be paid back. Funding is limited this winter, so it is important to apply for LIHEAP now. Learn more about how a LIHEAP grant can help you or someone you know. Find out if you're eligible for LIHEAP by calling 1-866-827-1281 or visit peoples-gas.com/LIHEAP.
The new home for the PIHL in 2014-2015 is the MSA Sports Network. Not only can you listen to audio broadcasts of high school hockey games online like in years past, but this year MSA Sports will be video streaming 25 games live and archived during the regular season with exclusive coverage of the 2015 Penguin Cup playoffs. Your audio and video home of the PIHL is the MSA Sports Network.
6-4, your final score is the Franklin Regional Panthers defeat the South Park Eagles in this PIHL Single A Tier 2 non-conference matchup. And what a game it was as the South Park Eagles fought back time in and time out, and ultimately it was the Franklin Regional Panthers who had to fight their way back from a deficit. They were down 4-3 and then scored 3 straight goals to win this hockey game by a final score of 6-4. Time to take a run through the Blade Runners scoring recap. And, Sean Myers, you have those.
Yeah, certainly a lot of offense, as expected in this contest. 2 pretty good offenses, 2 defenses that struggle at times. Didn't take very long for Franklin Regional to get on the board, just 5:04 into the contest. Ethan Bennett from Colton Cook, Joseph Merlina puts the Panthers up 1-0, but Kirk Zandier answers on the power play from Jacob Hickey and Tyler Gerhold. That coming at the 9:16 mark of that opening stanza ties it at 1. As we head to the second period, Zachary Barely, unassisted, gives Franklin Regional another lead. That one 2-1. But Hunter Linnetz answers at the 6:29 mark. Kirk Zandier and Brian Yost on the assist to make it 2-2. Franklin Regional once again surged ahead as Cameron Huffman from Ethan Yohe puts the Panthers up at the 12:20 mark. But once again, South Park up to the task of responding. Daniel Nataro from Brian Yost and Kirk Zandier makes it 3-3, and that was the score as we head to the third period. In that third period, South Park gets its first lead of the contest, courtesy of a Jacob Hickey power play tally from Tanner Orr and from Nataro. But Franklin Regional shows its resolve as the Panthers quickly battle back. At the 9:01 mark, it's Tyler Newell, the first of his 2 goals from Nick Coretta and Jamie Morrow, makes it 4-4, and then Newell again, this time from Colton Cook. That one coming at the 12:04 mark, puts Franklin Regional ahead 5-4, and then sealing the outcome was Cameron Huffman as he gets an empty net tally. Morrow and Merlina on the assists. The final score 6-4 in favor of the Franklin Regional Panthers. Franklin Regional also won the battle of the shots 27-22 in this contest.
That was your Blade Runners scoring summary. Blade Runners with locations in Warrendale and in Harmarville. Adam Gusky, Sean Myers on the call for you, wrapping it up as the Franklin Regional Panthers improve to 10-5 on the season. Now 20 points on the year for the Panthers, while South Park gets their 5th loss on the season. They are now 11-5 on the year. Time to talk about the Mount Lebanon Ice Arena play of the game, and that is a very easy one, as it was Tyler Newell coming down from the high right side, skating towards the netminder Shane Walker. Walker anticipated the puck going to his right-hand side, and somehow Tyler Newell was able to put that puck to the short side underneath the glove of Walker to tie this hockey game up at 4-4.
Yeah, Newell, as we mentioned, back-to-back goals, the tying one and then the go-ahead goal, and really a guy that you didn't expect a lot of offense from, just 1 goal coming into this contest, but he gets 2 goals just 3 minutes and 3 seconds apart, the tying goal and the winning goal for Newell. Certainly a good selection for the from the play of the game presented by, easy enough for me to say, the Mount Lebanon Ice Arena.
And I misspoke there momentarily. That was the winning goal by Newell that I did describe, as it came down the right side and put it past Walker on the short glove side. And again, that's the Mount Lebanon Ice Arena play of the game. Mount Lebanon Ice Arena is the place for teens in the South Hills on Friday nights. And we had some debate about who the 3 stars will be, but obviously a couple of them jump off the page. Our number 1 star has got to be number 35, Tyler Newell for Franklin Regional. He had the tying and game-winning goals for the Panthers. The second star for Franklin Regional is going to be Huffman. Huffman had a couple of big goals for Franklin Regional, including the one that sealed the deal, the 6th goal of the game for Franklin Regional. And, who jumps off the page for you, Sean, for that third star from South Park?
I look at Kirk Zandier in the game that he had, not only getting that power play tally, but he also had assists on the 2nd and 3rd goal for South Park. So you look at 1 goal, 2 assists for Zandier, the leading scorer for that team. I thought he played a very good game, despite the fact that the Panthers, obviously realizing how potent of an offensive threat he was, really tried to take him out of it.
Again, your final score 6-4 as the Franklin Regional Panthers defeat the South Park Eagles. Sean Myers put a bow on this one.
A big win here for Franklin Regional. Really a fun story between 2 teams that struggled mightily a year ago, have completely turned around their fortunes here in the 2014-15 campaign. For Franklin Regional, this story gets even a little bit better as they get their 20th point now of the season with the critical victory here. For South Park, they're still in great shape. 22 points so far in the season. Both these teams most likely will be making the playoffs. South Park has such an insurmountable lead in that Western Conference that they're almost a shoo-in at this point. So you look at the great season for these teams, fitting that this one was a back-and-forth contest that came down to the closing seconds. Ultimately, it was the host Panthers that got some unlikely offense that it was able to put them over the top in this one.
With the win, the Franklin Regional Panthers improved to 10-5 on the year, 20 points on the season now for the host Panthers, while the visiting South Park Eagles fall to 11-5 on the season, but still 22 points, a good tally thus far for the South Park Eagles. Again, your final score 6-4, the victory for the host Franklin Regional Panthers. For my broadcast partner, Sean Myers, and our camera operator for today's video broadcast, Scott Majeski, I'm Adam Gusky, saying goodnight, everybody. You've been listening and watching high school hockey on the MSA Sports Network, brought to you by Trib Total Media.
You have been listening to the Pennsylvania Interscholastic Hockey League here at MSASports.net. Sponsored in part by the Mount Lebanon Ice Arena, by Blade Runners, by S-Mark, by First Commonwealth Bank, by People's Gas, by Carlow University, by UPMC Sports Medicine, by the East Suburban Sports Medicine Center, by J&J Distributing, and by Management Science Associates. You can follow the high school hockey season every day by logging on to www.msasports.net. The preceding has been a special presentation of the Management Science Associates Sports Network.